My darling, I know a version of you that no one else has ever seen. The one who smiled while quietly breaking. The one who donated while feeling empty. The one who came up, led, served, loved, and encouraged despite internal concerns, exhaustion, scars, and periods of silent breakdown. I saw the tears you never let fall in front of them. I heard prayers that never went above a whisper. I felt a pain that you couldn't describe. And now I am speaking to you. The one who learned to survive. The one who kept going while quietly asking, does anyone even notice what this is costing me? Yes, I noticed. And I am not ignoring it. I am healing it. You see, while others saw your power, I saw your strain. They saw your constancy, but I saw the effort it required to remain stable. You were praised for your leadership, talents, and ability to stay calm. But I understood what was going on behind your grins and schemes. And I want to express it softly and simply. You don't have to carry it that way anymore. I never asked you to demonstrate strength. I just ever asked you to be honest. Not for their approval, but for my recovery. This marks the beginning of a new form of healing. Not the healing which makes things seem better. The healing process that restores your health. I am not mending the version of you that the world praises. I'm repairing the portion that never seemed safe to show. The section that questioned if being vulnerable would make you seem weak. You were not even a member of the group that adjusted, adapted, overgave, overworked, and remained quiet in order to maintain peace. That version of you, the quiet, ignored, survival built you, is not lost on me. It never was. And now I'm bringing that part of you out of hiding. You have done well. I'm not rebuking you. I'm reaching out to you because you've kept going. And I respect that. But you've also forgotten what it feels like to just be mine. You've created a pattern that doesn't allow you the room to feel, inquire, or fall in my arms and let me be enough for you. And now I'm inviting you to something deeper. Not only did you do for me, but you were completely honest with me. No more filters. No more pretending you're okay while bleeding. I want the real you. I've always desired the real you. Allow me to travel to locations that others have neglected. The disappointment you repressed because you did not want to be seen as ungrateful. You stopped discussing your dreams because optimism seemed like betrayal. Nobody questioned about your weariness since you continued showing up as if nothing was wrong. I am not terrified of any of it. I do not need you to explain it. I only need you to welcome me in. Let me be the one to finally hold the version of you that has never been properly held. Let me be the one who sits with the fear, frustration, and bewilderment without flinching. I am not mending you only to make you useful. I'm mending you because you come first, before the calling, the ministry, and the effect. You're mine. And this healing is not about productivity. It is about closeness. You are not being mended to perform. You are regaining your sense of belonging. And when you allow me to reach into the areas you've guarded, you'll begin to recall who you were before the pressure, the speed, and the expectations. You will hear your own heartbeat again. You will feel me again. And the lethargy that had sunk like fog in your spirit would begin to dissipate. This is the confrontation, not to coerce you into doing more, but to finally make you known. You've been hiding long enough. You've carried enough. You've kept it together long enough. Now, allow me to hold you. I'm not asking you to break down in front of those who lack the grace to manage your emotions. I'm asking you to be honest with me and allow me inside the areas you've compartmentalized for survival. because I am not arriving with a judgment. I'm coming with oil. And this oil will not only soothe you, it will seal you. It will shield you while I transition you into a new season. Not more doing, but deeper dwelling. You aren't moving backward. You're moving inward. And from there, I'll develop something stronger than anything you've achieved by effort. I'll restore your sensitivity. I will restore your delight. I will revive the part of you that once believed without fear of disappointment. Because you are not just due for a new task. You're overdue for a renewed sense of my adoration for the you that no one noticed. This is where the healing starts. My kid, I understand how difficult it is to trust that I genuinely see you. This is not the version you had to be. Not the version that people expected you to be, but the genuine you. The one who questions if rest can ever feel secure, the person who has learned to push through agony, to function while in pain, and to remain silent when the suffering grew too familiar. I know how deep your functional strength goes. I know how many people have relied on you without questioning whether you are all right. I have only ever asked you to let me hold you. You imagined that being used by meant being calm, powerful, and quiet when suffering was unpleasant. But it isn't my way. I do not ignore brokenness. I walk directly into it. I do not need your power. I am your power. I don't need your perfectionism. I need your presence. More than anything, I want your heart back. Not the guarded version. Not the version you provide after you have cleaned yourself off. I want a heart that is tired, raw, yet still pounding behind layers of survival and quiet. I see you, my kid. Not just what you do, but who you are when you feel invisible. I see a part of you that is weary of faking. I see a part of you crying for losses you've never identified. I glimpse inner areas that have been unnoticed, undisturbed, and unfelt for far too long. And I don't look at such areas with disappointment. I'm staring at them with genuine sympathy. You've been carrying something you weren't supposed to bear alone. And now I'm saying you don't have to anymore. You are not weakened because you are fatigued. You are not failing because you are unwinding. You are no less important because you have slowed down. In reality, the reason you feel like you're unraveling is because you've exhausted what effort can provide. And that's where I come in. Not to patch you up and send you back out, but to reconstruct you from the inside. I'm not attempting to repair your mask. I'm healing your genuine face. I'm not attempting to resuscitate your image. I am restoring your heart. Let me talk clearly and calmly. You are still my joy. You aren't a hardship for me. You aren't very complicated for me. You're not too frail. You're not too late. I selected you knowing every flaw you'd have. I phoned you knowing you'd be questioning your value. I anointed you not in spite of your struggles, but because of them. I'm still phoning you now. Not to accomplish more, but to stay with me. Come as you are. Come trembling. We come undone. Come if you finished dreaming. Come if you have given up hope. Come if you don't know how to be authentic anymore. I will educate you again. I will walk with you till you feel secure again. I will teach you what it means to be loved without having to oppress. I didn't get you this far just to lose you in the cacophony. I invited you here so we could finally address the part of you that silently wanders. And I loved if I'm not needed. My response is straightforward. Yes. You're mine. This is not about reestablishing your ministry, voice, pace, or reputation. This is about rebuilding you. The you who grins without pressure. You are the one who hears my voice before others' views. a version of yourself that is comfortable with vulnerability. You allow me to be enough. It is the version I am restoring. Not because it is effective, but because it is timeless. So come back to me, not with a to-do list, but with simply you. Come to the silence and say, "Here I am, Lord. That is all I need. I'll do the rest. I intend to go where no one has gone before. I will adore the version of yourself that you have forgotten to love. I'll remind you that being gentle is not a sign of weakness. It is sacrosanct. I will take your heart in my hands and say, you are safe here now. You may be the person no one noticed since I have always seen you. And now I am mending you, my precious child. And now that you've let me get near to the true you, the unseen, unheard, and uncelebrated you, I want to speak kindly to the weight you've been carrying for far too long. I am not merely treating your symptoms. I am repairing the narrative that has molded them. The cause of the tiredness, the suffering behind the performance, and the source of the unspoken ache. You never wanted to be in this type of agony, but you've handled it so effectively that you've come to accept it as a normal part of life. But I never intended for your heart to harden due to obligation. I never intended for your delight to be sacrificed for survival. And now I tell you that we're getting to the root, not just the residue. I know why you are silent, and became simpler to repress than to express. There were times when being honest cost you more than you could afford. I've been in situations when someone promised to remain but then left. The years you spent serving while silently hoping for someone to inquire how you were, the seasons when you continued giving because the world appeared to have forgotten that you were also human. I never forgot those times. I saw the stress in your eyes. I witnessed how your heart sank when no one acknowledged how hard you worked to get there. And I want you to listen to me. Every invisible sacrifice was holy to me. You've confused your capacity to bear pain as evidence that it no longer hurts. But I see beyond your capabilities. I see your spirit. And now that your soul has learned to adjust, I'm interrupting with healing. You've learned to operate under pressure, but I want you to feel again. I want you to have hope again. I want you to laugh not because you made it through, but because you are free. I want your delight to be genuine, not contrived. Your relaxation should be complete, not fleeting. Your identification should be safe, not conditional. And that's why I've let this season seem like a pause. Because I needed room to mend what you had been taught to overlook. The anguish you never got to express, the rage you were scared to feel, and the disappointment that lasted long after you had gone on. This is not regression. This is repair. I am not breaking you. I'm asking you to admit where you were previously damaged so that I might ultimately heal you in ways you didn't realize you needed. You do not need to scrutinize everything. Just grant me permission to enter. I am not frightened of your feelings. I am not remote from your wounds. I am not surprised by what you are holding. I've carried it with you. Every time you felt alone, I was closer than a breath. And now I am bringing the agony out of hiding. Not to embarrass you, but to reveal the myth that led you to believe this was normal. The silent anguish has never departed. The gravity you always handled but could never shake. This does not reflect who you are. It's who suffering attempted to shape you into. But I'm bringing back the you that you'd forgotten about. Allow me to show you how I have viewed your experience. I saw every hidden gesture of forgiveness. Every time you chose compassion over vindication, every prayer you spoke while your heart bled. Every night, you sobbed yourself to sleep and awoke with the energy to grin again. That is not weakness. That is depth. That is why you bear the weight you do. That is why your words may provide healing even when you are feeling empty. Because I have been creating something in your soul that no stage or applause can justify. I've been creating splendor when no one was looking. I know you still have the questions. Why did they leave? Why didn't they see what I needed? Why did I have to grow powerful so quickly? These questions do not constitute revolt. They show that your heart is still delicate. I want you to bring them to me. I may not respond to each one in the manner you anticipate, but I will do it with presence, understanding, and calm that enters the room before clarity. Because my response is not always a reason. It's a reflection of who I am to you in the parts that hurt. You are not weak for seeking recovery. You are not theatrical since you feel profoundly. It's not selfish to want someone to inquire how you're doing. These wants do not render you broken. They make you human. And I have never turned away from that humanity. I welcomed it. I approached it. And now I'm calling it close again. So you may have a life that is more than simply managing discomfort. You are not a container for trauma. You are a dwelling place for splendor, and I am healing you correctly. Let this be the start of the unraveling. Not into chaos, but into truth. Allow me to meet you in the unraveling of the roles you have played for too long. Let me discuss the version of you that no one has ever inquired about. Let me reintroduce you to yourself. The you who dances without being seen, tears without concealment, and breathes without apology. You were never intended to be the strong one in return for being the visible one. I see you now. I have always seen you, and I'm mending you in ways no one else has. Now that the mending has started, it is reaching aspects of you that you have previously buried, concealed, or disregarded. I want to start uncovering something else. The promise that has always existed behind the suffering, the pieces of your tale that were never deleted and are now waiting. I'm not simply recovering to be comfortable. I'm healing for mobility, awareness, and satisfaction. Because I am more than just a healer. I am the one who completes what I began. And the things I said to you in previous seasons, which you silently ceased anticipating, are still alive. I want you to notice the signals of not just healing, but also burgeoning splendor. Not big messages, nor dazzling confirmations, but modest sacred adjustments. I walk in patterns of tranquility. I talk with rhythm. And right now, I'm surrounding your life with signs that the repair process is already starting. The fact that you're beginning to feel at ease in locations where you used to be anxious is an indication. Clarity in your soul even before circumstances alter is a sign. People have noticed a difference in your voice, presence, and viewpoint, even when you haven't spoken anything. That is me. You do not have to push the promise forward. You only have to understand that it is already rising. Just like spring begins with a quiet thawing rather than a booming trumpet, your new season begins with fruit starting to push through. What was previously buried behind sadness, shame, or silence has now surfaced. Not because you made it happen, but because I kept nurturing it. Expect surprising generosity and words of support from those who don't know the complete story. Doors should open slowly, but with ease. Dreams begin to return, not to torment you, but to encourage you to believe again. Pay attention to repetition. I am communicating via the sentences you keep hearing. Scripture that comes to you more than once. Thoughts that occur when you are motionless. These are not random. These are reminders. I'm rebuilding your expectations one gentle affirmation at a time. The part of you that gave up hope is going to be reawakened. Not with foolish desire, but with steadfast assurance. What previously seemed like folly to dream will now seem like obedience. I'm calling you back to the places you left gently, to the promises you saved because they hurt to keep, to the prayers you stopped reciting because the quiet was longer than you imagined. Those moments stayed with me. I did not abandon those aspirations. I've been holding them and you in perfect sync. You will begin to feel motion, not by opening the doors, but by obtaining inside authorization. You'll know when it's time, not because someone informed you, but because I'll confirm it with a weight of calm. You'll stop preparing for rejection. You'll stop wondering whether you're prepared, because your spirit will rise and declare, I was born for this moment. That moment will not pass you by. I've reserved it, safeguarded, and timed it for you. Favor comes in the form of both opportunity and alignment. People whose voices align with your healing. People who don't need your past to believe in your mission. Conversations that do not drain you but rather fill you. Look for these miraculous intersections. I am surrounding you with peace, companionship, and prophetic insight. And when these connections arrive, you'll experience feelings you haven't felt in a long time, seen, heard, and secure. Some of the indicators will be revealed via release. Things that have been emptied will silently disappear. Responsibilities you formerly adhered to out of fear will no longer seem vital. You'll quit trying to keep things alive that I've already declared done. And that release will create way for new things, genuine delight, and holy yeses without concern. That's me moving. That is me saying, let go. I've got it now. It is not only about getting restored. It's about being repositioned. You're not going back to who you were. You're becoming the person you were always intended to be. And my signals may not always make sense in the time, but they will be consistent with my word, peace, and the longings I planted in your soul. Trust them. Trust me. You're not wandering in circles. You're approaching the finish line. This is how it begins. Quiet, intimate, and strong. Healing has started, and so has satisfaction. My dear, now that healing has reached the invisible parts of your heart, and you can sense the subtle proof of what I've been repairing, I'd want to show you how to walk it out. Not for a few days, but for a whole lifetime. Because what I'm mending in you isn't something that should be visited on a regular basis. It's intended to be maintained. And the trust required for that is not loud. It is more. It is not about achievement. It is about obeying. What I want to create with you next is more than simply a breakthrough. There's a rhythm. A daily existence centered on my presence, fashioned by my words and supported by my serenity. Begin by leaving room for me. Make space not when it's convenient, but when it's necessary. Begin your day with calm. Even if your calendar is packed, don't wait until your heart is in crisis to contact me. Come as you are. Groggy, attentive, and mute. I'm not expecting a performance. I am seeking for presence. When you first meet with me, I'll order the rest. I will grant you insight that you did not ask for. You didn't feel strong. Peace you didn't realize you needed. I am not searching for lengthy hours. I am seeking for true availability. Open my message and let it speak straight to your heart. Approach it as medicine, not a job. Allow it to correct slowly. Allow it to provide profound comfort. Allow it to rewire what the world has encoded in your head. Read slowly. Ask questions. Write down what inspires you. My message can reach every part of your life, and I'll utilize it to safeguard your recuperation. because clarity, rather than hurry, is now your compass. And the more truth you have in your heart, the less place fear has to take root again. Keep your prayer life honest. Talk to me without trying to impress me. I already know what you are thinking. Deliver it to me before it hardens. Pray when you are upset. Pray when you are numb. When the day is too noisy, pray, and when the night is too quiet, ask me to share your responses, pace, and ideas. I will teach you where to halt, push in, and let go. I am not preparing you for religious discipline. I'm educating you about friendship. I want your heart, not your perfectionism. Worship is a weapon, particularly when heaviness reappears. When your mind is exhausted, lift your voice. Raise your hands even if your feelings do not align. Worship does not ignore reality. It expresses what is more real. It keeps your heart anchored in truth while your mind wanders. Turn on the music again. When you are at a loss for words, speak the name of Jesus. When you invite me in, my energy will swiftly fill your area. You do not need a stage. You need awareness. And when there is adoration, I am present. When I take the lead, things move quickly. It doesn't have to be dramatic, but there will be times when I encourage you to let go. It's not incorrect. It's just in the way. Sometimes there is noise. Sometimes it's a source of comfort. Sometimes you realize how much you rely on something. I murmur, pull back. Do it. Because fasting does not gain you anything. You empty yourself so that I may fill you again. And in that place, I'll meet you with revelation, clarity, and healing that goes far beyond anything food or diversions can provide. Protect your environment. You've gone through too much to allow turmoil disrupt your tranquility. Determine what triggers you. Discover what relaxes you. Discover who enhances your path and who drains your soul. I'll help you set limits for consecration rather than isolation. I'm teaching you how to safeguard what I've mended. That involves saying no at times. That means choose stillness over noise. That means prioritizing rest over hurry. Your sensitivity isn't a weakness. It is a gift. In this season, it will be your best asset. You'll also notice some acceleration. What took years to change will now shift in weeks. You'll make choices with confidence because tranquility will lead you. You will get confirmation in methods that do not need explanation. Your judgment will be acute, and your confidence will be subtle but unwavering. This isn't pride. This is the effect of realizing you have been made complete. This is what occurs when healing is allowed to complete its course. It creates trust based on presence rather than demonstrating. I'm even redeeming time. The seasons you believed you had lost. I am folding them into the fruit that I am going to unleash. The tears you shed behind closed doors. I'm transforming them into oil that will anoint every location you enter. You did not squander a single second, even those that seemed to be collapsing. I was collecting every breath, every pause, and every second of quiet endurance. And now I'm releasing beauty for ashes, pleasure for grieving, and praise for sadness. And it won't be silent. This change will provide proof. You are no longer the version of yourself who lapsed into quiet. You are the one who has been healed, set free, and is seen. And from here, I'll send you. My actions are irreversible. What I'm developing can't be shaken. What I'm opening can't be closed. This is when the true you starts to walk openly in the strength you developed in secret. My dear, Now that the healing has begun to develop in ways you never imagined imaginable, now that serenity has replaced panic and quiet has surpassed striving, I want to lead you farther, not into action, but into abiding. I don't want to merely guide you to recovery. I want to reflect on what I've healed. I want my spirit to have complete access to the portions of you that have finally opened up. You've been protecting those areas for so long that you've forgotten what it was like to be completely accessible. But now I say to you, allow me to take complete residence. The Holy Spirit is not a guest. He isn't just a moment. He's not a feeling. He is the indwelling breath of heaven. He is your counselor, guide, and consolation. He is not observing you from a distance. He is inside you, waiting to speak in the midst of your routine. He is not limited to Sunday mornings or frantic prayers. He is the everyday presence that calms your heart, clears your mind, and fills your life with undeniable, peaceful strength. Let me take you to that place now, not for inspiration, but for closeness. Allow the real you, the healed you, the vulnerable yet open you to sit with me again. You do not need to be ready. You don't have to feel worthy. You do not need to use the correct terms. Just be still. Just be present. That's all the invitation my soul needs. And when you do, you will feel me. Not as a concept, but as a person. The Holy Spirit isn't a force. He is my nearness. He is the answer to your soul's need. I wish to restore your sensitivity, both emotionally and spiritually. I want you to feel me again, to know my nudges, to stop when I whisper, and to follow without hesitation. I want your discernment to improve so that you no longer need external evidence to believe my voice. I'll train you to walk with awareness. Not awareness of results or pressure, but of existence. And the more time you spend here, the more clearly you will understand what I am saying. Because you will understand how it feels when your spirit is completely linked with mine. This is what real change looks like. Not striving harder, but giving deeper. Allow the Spirit to enter the places of your heart that you've never shown anybody. The anxieties continue to resonate. Reactions that continue to flare. The falsehoods are still whispering. You do not have to repair them. All you have to do is relinquish them. You'll bring illumination. You will deliver the truth. You will bring freedom. And you will not bring those shadows with you to the new areas I am sending you. You will move with clarity, authority, and tranquility. Allow me to make your inner existence complete. Not as an ideal, but as the everyday routine. You shouldn't feel fractured. You are not meant to feel torn between the powerful version people expect and the gentle one you have always been. Allow the Spirit to transform you into one, entirely integrated, completely at ease, and completely aligned. Because from there, I may go through you with strength that does not drain you, but rather fills you up as you pour. You will start to feel it. Your ideas will become clearer, your emotions more grounded, and your choices more spirit-led. You'll notice when your old tendencies attempt to resurface, and you will pick my rhythm instead. It's transformation nor perfection, nor perpetual intensity, but a consistent spirit-led existence that brings more than simply calm. I want to remember this moment as more than simply healing. It is a sacred beginning. You've gone through layers of quiet, seasons when you couldn't even define what you were carrying. But I had the words. I understood what you were crying over. Return to this word anytime the noise increases again. Let it serve as a reminder that you, to whom no one noticed, have been totally accepted, healed, and released. And from now on, you walk as the complete one.